Welcome to Around the Block, hosted by Terry Sullivan and Chris Gifford, where we share stories of hope, love, and community.
Welcome to another episode of Around the Block. I'm Terry Sullivan, my co-host, and great friend Chris Gifford's at the other end of the table down there. Hey, Chris, good to see you today.
Good to see you too, sir.
You looking good.
Thank you. Just shaved my head just for you, buddy.
As good as you can look, you know. I am so excited. What is going on down there?
Testing gravity again, man.
I'm so excited, Chris, about our guest today. I maybe more excited than ever because I love these guys, and we're going to get into their lives. But I have two guests with us today. One is John Allen, and John, believe it or not, is a musician, plays the guitar with one arm, and we're going to get into how that all happened. It's a phenom, John. It's good to have you.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. Always.
And then we have Rich Lloyd, and Rich has become a good friend of mine. Rich has been playing he came over with Moses, and he's been playing a long time. Been in the industry a long time and played with some of the greatest musicians in the world. And he and John, Chris, go back, how long, Chris? How long, John?
What, 30 plus years?
Yeah, like 30.
Yeah.
7, 8?
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
A long time.
Yeah.
So let's just dig in here. Well, let me ask you a question. So did you guys grow up together?
Well, he was actually my baby brother's friend first. Mm-hmm. And Rich and I met at the time just when I started playing music again. I just kind of got well. It took me from my accident, which I guess we'll go over later, but I just got well when I met him, and we started playing music. And Rich said something to me. I don't know if he remembers it, but
I do.
We were out in the yard. We had just got through like rehearsing, and he said to me, he said, "Man, you are the bravest." I can't use that word I've ever met.
S-O-B.
Yeah, I've ever met in my life. And that stuck with me because I never thought of it because I just was being me. But that had such an impact on me, along with many other things that he's done musically for me.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's go back to your teenage years.
Okay.
You were an athlete, not just an athlete, but a good athlete. I mean, you were headed, I believe, to Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor or North Texas. I wasn't really quite sure, but Baylor was my favorite.
And you were a quarterback.
Yes, I was. I was very blessed. I was ultra fast for that time. Yeah. I was a 10-second sprinter in the 100 and 4.3 something 40, and I still had a couple of high school track records that hadn't been broke a few years ago. I haven't checked, but my life was planned out perfect. I thought I married my high school sweetheart, and her name is Sabrina. She's from right over here in Irving, and we had baby right away. We wanted to get my daddy a grandbaby because
that's what you do.
Well, I've been told since I was 13 he could die tomorrow. And so I married her, and our perfect life just got flipped up in March one year.
Rich, now, are you in this scene at this time?
No. I met him after the accident.
So here we go. You're headed to Baylor.
Right.
You're 19 years old.
Right, and I get electrocuted.
Pick it up there.
Well, I got electrocuted, and I stayed in the Parkland burn unit for about 5 months.
What were you doing that you got electrocuted?
Well, I went up the side of this building, and electricity don't just go through those wires. It goes around it, depending on the wind, the humidity, how big a circle it is. And if you get in that, it arcs like static electricity. You know, when you rub your feet on the floor and touch a doorknob kind of deal. And once it makes the jump, and then, you know, I don't even know when it happened. I just wake up in Parkland, and I'm counting the lights going down the hallway so I know how many to run back. Because I didn't even know where, it was like being in a dream, like you've been held prisoner And I'm rolling down the hall, so I'm going 13 lights back that way is where I started. So, so I get home and I weighed 200 pounds. And when I got out of the hospital, I weighed 126. So, and
So when you got electrocuted, did it just automatically take your arm off?
no,
Or did-
I think that they did like 4 or 5 attempts. They started off cutting like fingers, but it was so blown up because electricity doesn't make an entrance wound, but it makes exit wounds. And I'm burned from here up, and then they take the skin
when you
off
say from here, your
from
stomach?
my waist to my neck, all the way around. And of course, my arms, you see them in this arm is off at the elbow. And anyway, so it took me a couple of years to get well. I mean, literally. I mean, that's about when he come along about the time I was getting well. Him, David, were going to college, and I started going to college, and we played softball together, and we played flag football together. And Rich can tell this part of the story way better than I can.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell him.
Oh, let
was your cue.
me back up a little bit.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I met him after the accident. He had already started playing again, guitar. Which was
Wait a minute. So you were playing? You were a musician before the?
Oh
accident.
yes, sir. I could really play. When
yeah.
I
I can only imagine how I can play with 2 arms. But the best way I can describe this is like, okay, at this point I was about 18. I was a professional musician. I played professionally, so I was pretty accomplished even at 18.
Yes.
Best way I can describe it is, say you're a gifted athlete, at a track meet. You show up at a track meet, and your opponent has 1 leg, and you're like, oh man, God, this isn't fair. I mean, I don't, should I ease up on him? And then the gun goes off, and then he runs off and leaves you. That's what it was like. He started playing, and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to do everything I can to keep up with this guy.
Well, how did that happen? You got 1 arm, so
Right. My brother David, who you've met up here, he plays the bass, and we had always, our family was musicians, and he was wanting to do a band, and he said, "Can you help us? Can you help us get it going?" And we couldn't find a guitar player, and me and David, I said, "Listen, let's figure out a way for me to play." So, Mr. Potter was a prosthetic builder down there. We made the first one, me and my brother did, and a guy named E.W. Henderson. And in the garage, like we had a PVC pipe and pieces of aluminum and duct tape, and it worked. So we went over to see Mr. Potter, and he said, "I don't really know what you guys want, but," we showed him. He said, "Well, here's this and this. Call me if you need me." So he just so after we'd been in there messing around for an hour or two, he come in there and he said, "Oh, I got it." And he helped us snap it together. And the very first one, it worked so perfect. I literally could play Johnny Be Good within 30 minutes of putting it on. But the pick was permanently mounted, which was a flaw because when the pick broke, I was done.
Yeah, you had it riveted on there.
Yeah, it was
originally,
pop
right?
riveted. That's correct.
Yep.
So we go back and we make a new one, and we come up with this design to clamp the pick on, which didn't affect my playing. And the Southwest Prosthetics now, who takes care of all that, I just got it. Well, you saw my new one not too long ago, and it really. I don't even really have the words to put how lucky we were that it synced up that fast. We were from within 3 months, and we were booking gigs.
So you went from 2 arms to 1 arm. You designed a prosthetic arm with a pick. What did it do to your soul to be able to play again?
Yeah.
Well, let me jump back just a little further because I'm forgetting this really important person. When I got hurt, I had and he's still like my best friend brother. His name is, we'll just call him Sledgehammer because he may not want me to say his name, but when I got hurt, me and him had been best friends since we were 15 years old. And I'm in Parkland Burn Unit. He comes every day to see me from East Texas. He brings my mother and dad up there every day to see me from East Texas. Well, I finally get to come home, and my wife and I, we had a brand new baby. I had a baby 10 days old when I got hurt. So, I mean, this story can just go so many ways, but we had rented a little house down there, and Royce Hammer, I'd said your name. I'm sorry, Sledge. We maybe can edit that out, but they would come by the house and go, "Hey, we're going to the lake. You want to go?" Nah. Okay, see you tomorrow. Come back by. Hey, we're going to the lake. You want to go? And this went on like day after day, and I finally said, "You know what? I'm going. So we go and get out in the boat, and it's me and Royce and a couple of our other high school buddies, and there might have been some suds involved, but we're riding around the boat, and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, you want to water ski?" And I said, "No." He said, "Okay." So we go home. He said, "I'll see you tomorrow." So this is really how this happened. He comes back. Hey, so I go to the lake because now I like going to the lake. That was fun being in the boat with all my buddies that I'd run around with. And this goes on enough days. Finally, hey, you ready to ski? And I went, "You bet. Give me a ski." So this is part of the story I hope I can do without choking up because I go, yeah, and we didn't have these fancy vests. Remember, we had the ski belts, if y'all. They were about that wide. And they put they had them up to my neck. And when I jumped in the water, if you can just close your eyes and imagine you hear 4 more splashes. It's my friends jumping in the water. And they swam back to the back of the boat with me. And I'm going, "Guys, I can do this. Y'all got to get back in the boat." And I says, "Y'all get on the bow so the boat, wouldn't do this." And Royce stayed. Sorry, Royce. He stayed back there with me until the very end. He gets in the boat. He's driving, and he hammers it. And I jumped up, and my life changed forever that moment. That was I am John Allen, BMF again. That's what they called me growing up, with BMF. So.
All right, so that is very, very important because people that lose limbs or have destruction in their lives, there's got to be a moment that brings them back to who they are. That was
it. That was the Lord blessed me with that friend. Not just him, but at that point in my life, his urgency, he was helping me and I didn't know it. And we are still, to this day, we still are, he's very successful and I'm so proud of him. But
so is it fair to, in talking to people around the world that are struggling with the same scenario that you're talking about?
Sure.
Is it fair to say to these people, do what you used to do. Get involved. Don't hide in a closet. Go out. Don't worry about what you have or you don't have.
Oh yeah, and your friends that are trying to help you, let them, because my support group was, I had so many wonderful friends that I didn't know it. And we went from skiing to playing softball and then to playing flag football. And we were pretty much, I wasn't going to say we were unbeatable, but we wasn't that easy.
I guess it was the quarterback.
So how you throw the ball left-handed? What'd you do?
Yeah, I threw it left-handed, and
Better than anybody in the league.
And if we really needed some yardage, they would move me out to split end because I could outrun it.
Oh, nobody could catch you.
And then they'd throw me I could get open. And we had that one kid he played quarterback up here in Dallas, but and he could throw me, he could hit me down that sideline, and I would be, they couldn't get my flags.
No,
man.
no, I couldn't. He'd just run right by him.
Yeah,
you didn't even have to juke him.
Yeah, well, no, I just blow by him. And,
he just run right by you.
But Rich tells the story of
the softball story.
the best softball story. I can't even top this, and I would love for him to tell the softball story.
Absolutely. Well, John played shortstop. Okay, he didn't have when we played sports. He didn't use a prosthetic. I don't believe. He didn't use a prosthetic. So there was this one particular game. The other team, I don't remember who the other team was. I never seen these guys before.
No,
we didn't know.
It was some church team, I think.
We didn't know them. And there was one guy on the other team that was an insensitive dolt.
There's always that one guy, right?
To be nice, and he was making fun of John, and I don't know how we all just didn't go over there and beat the snot out of him because we wanted to. We all wanted to. But he was over there in the dugout and he says, "Hey, hit the ball over there to that guy right there." I'm like, man, I'm gonna go kill this. we are all ready to go kill him. And John was, he was cool. He was like, "No, man, don't worry about it." So finally, they hit a grounder to him. So John has the glove on his left hand, okay, and he has no prosthetics, so his arm is gone from here down. So he scoops the ball up, fields it. He takes the glove, and I can't remember if you put it like on the nub or if you put it underneath.
I would slide it up.
Yeah.
And like the outside and the inside.
Right.
And grab the ball.
Right. So he'd put it under there and secure the glove, and then he'd pull the ball out at the same time. And then he throws the guy out at first. And it was like, if you just watch someone with two arms, field a ball, scoop it, it was just like that. And the guy's out. And that idiot over there says, "Hey, don't hit it to that guy."
that was.
Yeah.
Man, we had so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
We beat them too. We beat them. We beat them bad.
Yeah.
John, can I ask you a question?
You betcha.
So I'm just sitting here just listening, and I'm thinking like, I don't have quit in me, but just thinking about the fact, like, if I lost my right arm, what would my mindset be? Where would my I've just been sitting over here just kind of like a bit dumbfounded at hearing these stories. What, and maybe you just never even entertained the thought, but like when you lost your arm, what was it that got you going again? Or is that just how you're wired? Well, so many people just, they use the smallest excuse to give up.
Well, and you're talking about 2 years in and out of the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, so it wasn't a simple journey at all.
No, but let me say this, and Rich can attest to this. I had probably like the best parents that my father, my daddy was. He was that guy that can nudge you to that next thing, and the Allens hate to lose more than we love to win. And my mother, we grew up. We have a lot of church at our house growing up, and so we always had the Lord. And that some people may think that's not for them, but it was for us. And I think that the Lord put all these people in these places for me, and my mind never was. I have never wanted to walk outside and scatter my brains all over the place. I wanted to be me, and my friend Royce Hammer, and I'm sorry, Royce, I would give your name away. But
For the 7th time,
yeah,
we're
I know,
sorry.
I said, well, maybe he can do this, but him and then Rich comes along, and I got my 2 kid brothers, and we live in a little bitty town. Let me add that at that time, the little town we lived in, everybody beloved everybody. I'm so glad to say that I grew up in a little town that if you saw somebody broke on the side of the road, if you stopped, there may be 3 other cars that would stop and help. And if we heard that you didn't stop and help somebody, then you got it from us. I mean, and so maybe a combination of all that stuff, but and then again, my prosthetic people have supported me in ways that I can't even begin to say. The guys at Southwest, they, if I say, hey, I heard about this new, like this, when this first come out, well, in a week we got one. And I had the first one of these enablers. I have a B-Bionic, which I'll have, if we do another one of these, I'll wear it up here. And
Well, tell them a little bit about what you do. For Southwest, because it's amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah, I when I first hooked up with these guys, it was to get a prosthesis, and it wound up being I got to start going and working with other guys that had lost their arm. They would literally be people that I don't want it. I don't want to do that, and I would go in there and I would carry a guitar and my guitar arm and one of these and or a bionic arm, and I would play my guitar. I would put this on, pick up a bottle of water or with the other one. And then all of a sudden, these people that are not interested anymore, they say, "Hey, you think I could do that?" Well, in 2 weeks, we got them going, and I get to see that light come back on in people, and that is more inspiring than anything I've ever done. Is me. I've told Richard this story. I went down to Brownsville, and we were going to see a guy that was his amputation was like at the hip joint, and when we get there, I'm riding with RG and I see all these fishing poles. I mean, like leaned up, like I have guitars, And so we get in there, and this guy he's standing there, and I said, "So what do you do?" He said, "I fish." And I said, "Oh, well, RG had made this leg that's like I can't even explain how it looks. This guy puts this thing on, and he starts walking. And I leave the room in tears because this guy lit up like that light right there. And he said, first words, I can go wade fishing, right? And that just blew me up. I was like, golly. And I always say, I think I got problems. Look at this. And he was happy. They're alive. And I've got to work with so many people that didn't want to do anything. And by the grace of the good Lord, I can do a lot of things. And some of them want to try to do that.
Well, that's why one of the main reasons that I wanted you to be on this podcast is because when you look at, everybody has issues.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has problems.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage problems, job problems, kid problems, addiction problems. But when I look at you and I see what you have overcome, and what you do to just live your life like everybody else lives their life, but with one arm when it takes the rest of us 2 arms. I can't help but sit back and go, thank you, God.
Man, me too.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I would be remiss if I didn't say something about my wife, Shannon. We've been married almost 30 years, and her, oddly enough, our relation come through her dad being a musician, and I blew up an amplifier, and you know how it is, Rich. We borrow stuff from each other. Going, hey, I got a power amp, and I went over there, and well, you've met Shannon. She sings like a bird. Our children sing.
I'm kind of scared of her, though.
Well, I tell you, she has been so good because she calmed. Once you wake that animal back up, and Shannon, she's been such a blessing to me, and she's allowed me to continue to play music and tour the United States with some of my friends. I'm gone for a long time, and Rich can tell you it takes a special woman to allow us or to support us while we're gone and they're back home taking care of the kids and stuff. And so that's another. I see her and she makes me want to be better. And
she's one of these people, and Rich's wife's the same way.
Yeah.
But one of these people that she walks in and the room lights up and just a little bit brighter.
Oh yeah. Richie's wife is off the chain too, man. We got lucky. Would you call it
very
beyond
blessed.
lucky? Maybe.
Very blessed, yes. Very blessed.
But your friendship with Rich though it's inspiring, and I've watched it now for over a year because you guys have been playing here at the barbecue house for over a year, and I've watched this friendship in admiration, and this is what I've noticed about it, and you can comment on this, but every time, and I mean every time, that I would compliment Rich, I would say something, man, that was a great groove, or that was, man, you shredded that. He always deflects the light and brings it back to you.
And we do that to each other, and it's like he's my little brother. I mean, I think he's like my brother, and we are very protective because I know how good this guy is, and he can.
How good is he? I mean, how good is that
This
guy?
is the best musician I've ever met in my life, and I've met a bunch of them. Now, he probably will never admit to that, but people that don't really know how he can sing, we talk about Chris's range. This guy's got a range like that.
And he can do anything.
Yeah,
no matter
jazz, rock, country, and he's Rich and I speak a language to each other. Like if it's a song I've never heard, he knows how to talk to me, and I can play that song like I've played it 1,000 times because we have. It's almost like twin talk. Would you say that?
Well, you have that, that ear.
Yeah, but he'll go.
You've got that super power.
See, here we go, deflecting again. See what I'm talking about? Chris, do you see what's happening
Oh,
here?
I do.
And he'll tell me, he'll go, okay, noodle around the Haggard groove. Well, I know what that means. Or he'll say, okay, kind of Johnny B. Goodish, but so. Nobody else in the world would probably know what that means except for between me and him. Because he's over here playing Fly Me to the Moon, and he's telling me that, because I may not know that song exactly, but he tells me what scale to noodle around in, and you just think I'm there, And
well, he probably has the same, barbecue language.
Yeah,
that we
probably
don't,
so.
we don't understand.
Yeah,
like if he's
I guess so.
If you're talking to Brian or whoever, and you might have a certain way, you're telling them, hey, do it this way, and we wouldn't even know what you're saying.
Right. But I don't have that with any other musician beside him.
It's just, it's
I
just,
don't.
it's just almost like a secret
Yes,
language of jargon.
And it's not.
But you do. But here's the deal: you do it while you're playing. You're playing in the middle of the song, and I see him say something to you, and then you're just connected right there.
Oh.
And it's so amazing to me.
That's from being friends and buddies for over 30 years, and
Sure.
Thankfully we kind of hear the same. I mean, we both are kind of. Would you say we're kind of blues orientated in our thinking? But he's like me. I hear steel guitars when we're playing. I hear fiddles. And
Hey, tell me. I was talking about steel guitars. Tell the story of you playing the guitar, but the steel guitar guys argue that you're playing a steel guitar.
yeah, that was was that Chris's guy, or was that Travis Tritt's guy? I can't remember.
I think you were telling me you were playing at Billy Bob's.
Yeah.
And I think you were just telling me the story.
Oh, it was Colt Ford's guy.
You were telling me the story.
I think it was Colt Ford's guy.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
I'm not.
You were telling me the story.
But so we play. You know, the way it works at Billy Bob's, they got the little stage, they got the big stage, and so my band was always on the front stage. Well, we played at the back a couple of them, but anyway, so we're opening the show, and then there was about a 30-minute break between the opening act and the big show, maybe 45.
Yeah, I think so.
So I go back to the green room to hang out with those guys, and you know, the steel player says, "Hey, who's y'all steel player?" And I said, "Well, I have a steel player." He goes, "You know, BS." And I went, "No, really, it's me, piano player, bass player, and drummer." "Nope, I'm here to pedal steel guitar up there." And I went, "No, we don't have one, man." And so they do their show. I go back and I look over there when, you know, the minute they get done, we get like and then we're back on. So I'm playing and I look over and that steel guitar player is standing on the stage and doing this. And he, you know, everybody leaves. So the only people left in the place is us, and we're all, you know, having a good time. But the steel player is like giving me the laser eye. And I'm talking to the guitar player. I go, "Man, is he mad at me or something?" He goes, "You messed him up." I went, "What?" And finally he come walking over to me and he shook my hand. He said, "Listen, I've won 2 Grammys. I'm going back to Nashville and reevaluate my life." And I was like, "Don't do that. You're great." He goes, "No." And of course, you know, you just got to know those Billy Bob guys, but they one guy goes, "No, you messed him up, man. Because I play and you see me all the time. I play a B-bender guitar, a pull string, and it does sound a lot like a pedal steel, and that's what he was hearing. But I don't want to say I perfected it, but I've got it down pretty good."
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well,
Yeah.
and you know.
I'd say so. I'd say
But that was a great story, and I got a whole bunch of those. But man,
Rich is there. Of all the, I mean, Rich, how long have you been playing?
40 years.
So you've been on some of the best stages with some of the best musicians in the world. These days, you just kind of enjoy doing what you want to do.
Well, I'm old.
I didn't want to, I just didn't want to say that because you still look young.
Well, I appreciate that. But yeah, I like doing gigs. For those of y'all who know what gigs is a music job.
right?
I like doing gigs that what I call they check all the old man boxes.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, you're not playing till 2 a.m. Like this gig is awesome. It's you know, we play from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a 3-hour gig. Great food.
Well, let's explain
the best
that.
food, actually.
For people that don't know, he's talking about playing at Sullivan Barbecue every
right.
Saturday night. He,
That's
John, Chris, what's his name? Wallace? Williams?
Chris Wilson.
Wilson. Sorry, sorry,
Well,
Chris. Sorry about that. Another gifted musician, but they play at Sullivan Barbecue in Lewisville every Saturday night.
That's right.
And so that's what he's referring to.
That's what I'm referring to. Yeah, shameless plug. So
So be out here Saturday nights from 5 to 8.
so yeah, and I've been doing this for so long. It's not really about a living more than it is just I want to enjoy what I'm doing, and I can't think of a better way to do that than to be playing with this guy right here alongside of me. And,
thank you, man.
and we love, I love playing with Chris. Chris and I do a lot of gigs together, and we've been playing together for a while. Yeah, 7 years, 8 years. So
another gifted musician.
Yeah, incredible.
You know what's special about the two of you guys is the commitment you have to the other, because the other's got your back. You have the other's back. And just to see the way that you two have just, even in this conversation today, have gone back and forth. There's been no talking over the other. It's been just this absolute respect, love, and just serve the other.
Yeah,
and it's awesome, guys. Really, it's been a privilege just to sit here and just see you guys chat back and forth, but show what it's like just in a conversation, even to have that type of a friendship, brotherhood.
So let's. Thanks for jumping in there, because I'm down here doing all the talking, looking at you like you have anything to say today, Chris?
I wait till that right time. But when you got guys like these here chatting, I mean, talk about the wisdom and the life and just the inspiration that you guys bring, and getting a chance to get to know you beyond what you do on stage has been pretty awesome.
Special.
Really special.
Rich.
It's our pleasure.
Yes.
Talk about your time with Chris Young.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I wasn't with Chris that long. I was with him for about a year and a half. He was just a kid. He was 20 years old, I believe, when he got his record deal. And I was a salty veteran, much older than him. And I can't believe I can't remember how old I was. I had to be 40, I guess. It's probably about 40, 39, 40 years old. And here's my boss, and he's 20, and he's a kid, and he's
But how did you get that gig? Because at that time, he was nobody. Now I got to step here and let this lady in, but you go ahead and talk.
Okay. How did I get that gig? Well, Nashville, it's a lot of it's a lot like all businesses, It's like who you know, good old boy system kind of thing. You're like, oh well, this buddy of mine knows this guy or whatever. A good friend of mine, a very talented guitar player, who is still Chris Young's guitar player, was already on tour with Chris, and I was actually playing bass guitar, not electric guitar. So they needed a bass player, and so Kevin told Chris about me, and I went and met Chris, and I went out with him for a weekend because he wanted to try me out, and so I went out with him for a weekend playing bass, and he hired me that weekend. So that's how I got with Chris Young. But I'd been with other artists before, artists I hadn't heard of.
Did you like him? Did I like Chris? And did you think he was,
certainly?
Did you think he was going to go anywhere?
I wasn't sure, to be honest. I really wasn't sure. And then I had another offer. To go with this other guy named Phil Stacy, and Phil, like, he was on American Idol, and he got a record deal, and so I went with him for a while. And then Chris just blew up after that. But no, I enjoyed my time with Chris. I mean, I didn't honestly know if he was going to do anything or not, because he was just so young and inexperienced. Chris Young. He was so inexperienced, and so I didn't know if he was going to make it or not. But but yeah, no, I got nothing but respect for him. Very talented singer, incredible singer,
Yeah.
and a great songwriter. Yeah, it was a lot of fun being out there with him. And
You know what I'm going to do, and I want you to plan on this. This is really not a question. It's what I want you to do.
Yes, sir.
On one of these Saturday nights that you guys are here, if you don't mind, during your intermission, and we'll promote it this way because I want you're such a great inspiration.
Yep.
And so on a Saturday night when you and Chris and Rich are here playing, and during intermission, would you tell your story in
Sure.
20 minutes?
Yeah, I'll do my best to make it 20 minutes because, I get to rambling and it just, because pretty soon somebody will go, hey, did you say, yeah, of course I will. This, little, you might get some humor out of this. This band hired me they entered a talent contest down in, between Tyler and Athens. And the first place guy got 20 hours in a recording studio, which is kind of a big deal, man.
mm-hmm.
And so this guy hired me. I'm not part of his band, but he said, I need a hired gun. So we drew numbers to see. There was 5 of us that had made the finals, and we got to go 4th. So we go out there and we do our thing, and it went off without a hitch. And so we're hurrying up getting our stuff off for the next band. Well, this guy says, hey, those judges want to talk to you. And of course, these other guys are trying to set up, but the judges want to talk to me. Well, tell us your story. This is exactly what they did. And so I condensed it down, and the whole time I'm feeling bad for these guys that are fixing to have to follow us, and then me telling my story, and and I gave the band as big an introduction as I could because we all know each other, and that guy told me, he said, this just ain't fair. This ain't, because we won. That guy got the deal, and the recording. And he made a pretty good song, but yep. Every time I do that, it starts out only going to be a couple of minutes, and then I'll entertain a couple of questions because people, they've got cousins or they've got nephews or somebody. Could you talk to them? I want them to see you. I want them to know that they can get up and walk. And so, yeah, it may make our show go longer, but I'd be happy to. I'd love to tell.
You know what we need to do, John, is we need to do like a documentary on you, buddy.
Okay.
We need to do something that encapsulates your story in a way that you can share it with every single person that you come across. So as you go and you meet with these new people that are getting a prosthetic limb for the first time, you can send them this little documentary to watch before you go out and meet them. And then what that does is that's going to help give them some context as to who you are. And then when they see you utilizing your prosthetic the way that you do, going out there with a guitar, going out there and you just being you, man, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. That's a great idea.
That
is a great idea.
I did kind of have something interesting happening while we were in Kerrville. They order all the stuff for my new arm, and I rode over to Kerrville, and I wasn't going to get out of the truck because we were just delivering a BK. Anyway, this lady walks by the truck, and she goes in the house, and all of a sudden RG comes out and says, hey, come in here. They want to meet you. She thinks she's seen you on television or something. And she had seen me on TV before. She said, is he an actor or something? She couldn't exactly. And then, he told her that I was a guitar player and musician. She went, that's where I've seen him. And I have no idea where she saw me play, but she recognized me while I was sitting in the truck. And oh my goodness. So I had to go, I gave her the short version, and another guy, they put the leg on him, he jumps up and walks, and you see the light come on in their eye. It's like waking up from a nightmare, and you realize it was a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy was going, guess where he was going? To the beach. They put his leg on and said, we're going to the beach. And he started trying to find a plastic sock to pull up, to his thigh. Of course, they make stuff for that. But anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's just what happens.
Well, everybody needs hope.
Yep.
Everybody. It doesn't, whether it's a loss of limb, a loss of marriage, a loss of a loved one. Everybody needs encouragement and hope, and you have that story for everyone. John, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us today. Rich, thank you so much for being with us today. You've been an inspiration.
Thank you.
To Chris and I both sitting here around the table.
Well, thank you for having us. And again, you're like part of our family now, so you can't get rid of us. I mean, even if we don't play here, we're still coming.
Well, that's not encouragement to me because I got to feed you.
Well, that's all right. We can cook and wash dishes if we have to. But thank you so much I appreciate you allowing me to share my story with people because it is kind of interesting but I've had so many blessings from other people like you. You've been so kind to us, and Rich and I like he noted, we're like brothers, man. He is so protective of me, and I'm so protective of him that, I guess like you noticed that if somebody says something, I'm listening to make sure, and he does the same thing for me. And I pity anybody that messes with us. It's not going to be nice. You can edit that.
You can edit that. No, we're going to start with that. All right,
We're
guys.
getting a little old for that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much.
That's it for this episode of Around the Block. Be sure to check back each Friday for new episodes. Produced by The Story Concept. Copyright 2022.